to another recap of the course. Single slide recap of the course. This is more a situation-based overview of what you have been learned, what kind of tools did you learn in this class. So you learned a bit of basic stuff, plotting, and a bit of general thoughts, not general ideas about what's data really and how to plot and how to do a simple scatter plot and things. Then we learned quite a bit about probability theory, chapter 2. Distributions. Sometimes people believe this is a major part of such a course, to know about these different distributions and when to use them, and when I meet this real life setting, which distribution is the right distribution to choose between. And yes, this is part of the course, but it's not the major core part of this course. Actually, the major core, as it's seen, is what I call statistics. The other one is actually more probability to technical, actually. The other, and of course you can meet that, but as you can see, the statistics part sort of is the major part of this course. The whole notion of what statistics really is, right? To do confidence intervals, hypothesis testing, and statistical reasoning, and then we split it when we talk about situations. That's also how you work as an applied statistician, as a statistical consultant, either in research or in business. I've been there myself. That's how you work. People come to you with a problem or with a challenge, and they describe it to you, and they tell you, I did this and this and this, I collected this and this data. At least if they already collected the data, in the best of situations, you were part of planning how to collect the data, and you would know already. But there are many situations where people approach the data persons, the stats guys, after they collected their data, because then suddenly they don't really are able to deal with it, and maybe they don't get the results they want. So could you please do some magic with the data and provide the results I need? Anyway, they come to you, they describe it to you, and you start finding out what kind of data are you really having. That's the first question. Do you have one of those, some of those count data that we discussed just a second ago and last time? Categorical data? Or do you have, which we have the more focus on in this engineering type of class, do you have measured data of some kind or the other? Quantitative data, discrete or continuous, in a way, kind of thing, right? That determines which part of the toolbox we will open up, actually, right? So this is the thinking. The data situation makes you should find the right tool among all those chapters, among all those tools you were given, sort of module-wise, chapter-wise. This is a dead end, or you could say this is, when you realize it's categorical data, that's it, that's our chapter 7 in the book. Then we have some decisions to make if we realize that we're dealing with quantitative, measured data. You could distinguish, it's always a bit artificial to make such simplified settings like this, but maybe it can help still in the understanding of what you've learned. We could distinguish between grouped data and regression data, right? By grouped, I also mean single column data. That's the only one group. That's all. That's where we started, chapter 3, 4, and then 8, and the analysis of variance thing, right? One sample, two sample, many samples. Where there's just a Y, and then the Y come in different groups. Whereas in the regression, we have as well X and Y data, sometimes several X's, right? So the regression is XY data, either simple regression or multiple regression. The grouped data is everything else, either 1-2 sample or an overtype multiple group. And when we distinguish between either the simple 1-2 or the multiple group, we have this notion of either independent or dependent samples, or either paired or unpaired, either blocked or not blocked. So we have one sample or 2 sample, and then we have, sorry, that's actually, I was a bit off point there. The point is rather that we should here with 1 or 2 sample in this course distinguish between whether we do the classical tools, t-testing, chi-square for variance, or we have the simulation-based bootstrapping tools to investigate our 1 or 2 sample things. In there, that's here I should have said, with multiple groups, the big discussion or the big distinction to think about is whether it's the 1-way or the 2-way, the independent sample or the dependent blocked samples. That's it. 5 minutes, 10 minutes, that's all you had learned. 400 pages in a little stat book. Would you have liked to see this a few weeks ago or 13 weeks ago? Some are nodding. Maybe you would have liked. Now you think you would have liked. Nah. Maybe we should show it in the beginning, actually. Never, it couldn't hurt, of course. I'll pass that on.